and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005, you were listening to Gamer Tag Radio with your hosts, Godfrey, Pete Rock, Parris, Pastor. Come on.
Welcome to episode 513. This is your host, Danny, and also my co-host I have here, Mr. Parris Lille.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do this review. I'm dying to know your opinion on this game. It's gonna be fun.
I think a lot of people want to know your opinion, too, Parris. 'Cause I think for the past few months you've been talking a lot about Halo 5.
Oh yeah, and I'm full of opinions today. So let's go. Let's do it.
Same here. So head over to gamertagradio.com. Post your comments and feedback. Also head over to play.it, and you can check us there. And make sure to subscribe and spread the word about GTR. You can also give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Or email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. This week, we're going to be reviewing Halo 5. We've been playing now this game for about 2 weeks or so. So I'm going to start like this. I think, by far, this has to be one of the hardest Halo games that I ever played. Hands down.
100% agree.
Yeah? What is it for you? Do you think that this is the hardest one for you?
Okay, well, I did the campaign on Heroic, and that's how I always play Halo. I always just go to Heroic, and if I had to rank them, I would say this was the hardest Halo I've played. Put Halo Reach right behind it as far as difficulty goes. It's just, and I'll get into it when I get into my overall opinion, but I just feel like the difficulty was scaled around 4 people playing the game versus 1. And you could tell, especially when we did the co-op on Legendary. Woo!
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Man. That was very, and I noticed that playing campaign online with 3 other players, it was smooth, no lag. I had no lag issues, and there was one part that shout out to DJ Knight. We were playing, and he was having issues streaming because he was streaming on Twitch. So something happened with Twitch app that he got disconnected in the middle of our campaign mission. So it took us to a screen, and I'm like, hey, what happened? And then once we got back, we stayed at the same spot, same area. Nothing changed. We didn't have to start the mission at all. And I was surprised with that. I was like, oh, man, that's cool. Like, I thought it was going to start all the way from the beginning because it was so tough, and I didn't want to go through that again. So that was very, very cool. Any issues with you online wise? I know we played a couple of matches online and also campaign.
Technical issues, no. If anything, I applaud Microsoft and 343 Industries because it was a very smooth experience from pretty much day one of playing it and through. I know they did a couple patches along the way, and we had the multiplayer download come in while we've been playing the last couple of weeks, but no issues. I would say the only time was I got kicked out of that one Warzone match. That was it. But other than that, it was fun.
Yeah, same here. So let's talk about the campaign, Parris. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit worried with the campaign at first because I was like, okay, there's new characters. What's up with this new character with Locke? You know, I know they had a like a web series or last year that came out during the launch of the Master Chief Collection, and honestly, I didn't like his performance in that series at all. I was like, so I was a little bit worried how he's going to be in the game and all that. And I have to say, his performance here was really, really good, man. All the characters, all the voice actors, they did an amazing job, man. I think so.
Okay, here's the thing. And you guys have known my critique of Halo 5 here since E3 of this year. I've been very worried and skeptical of what was to come. So I took a different approach than you. I knew about Hunt the Truth and everything. Everyone was saying how great it was. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to go into this not knowing anything about the story ahead of time. I want to see how the story mechanics work for the average person going in, really not knowing anything about Halo other than when they play the games, right? Mm-hmm. So I do agree with you. The voice acting was top notch. The technical production of everything that was going on, fantastic. Just a cinematic masterpiece when it just comes to the presentation of what we got. Wasn't that big of a fan of the story, to be perfectly honest with you. And we're not going to spoil anything here at all. So I'm not going to go into it too in depth. But while the presentation was great and I get where they were going, I'm sorry, but the quote unquote twist, I saw it coming 100 miles away. I knew that was going to happen. I knew the twist by the time we got to the end. That's where we were headed with Halo 5. If I have a disappointment with the actual story itself, it's that all it was, in my opinion, was to set up Halo 6, which, being the middle game in what we perceive to be a second trilogy here, I do understand it. But for those of you that played Halo 2, just be prepared for a similar type of thing when you get to the end of this game.
I think a little bit too extreme on that part, Parris, because while playing Halo 2, the campaign-wise, I remember finishing it, and I'm like, okay, what's going to happen next? And it felt like they just got cut off. And the reason why the difference between Halo 2 and Halo 5 is that Halo 2, Bungie was in a situation that they needed that game to be shipped. I don't feel the same with 343 with this game.
Don't get me wrong. And I know what you're saying. It may be saying Halo 2 is a little too extreme, but I guess I got that vibe is what I'm trying to say. Whereas, all right, I'm not going to get the true answers that I wanted until I play Halo 6. And that's the point I'm trying to make. And I know you've alluded to kind of an Empire Strikes Back type of feel to it. And I do see that, and I do appreciate it. But don't get me wrong here, as people are listening to this. Playing the campaign, I enjoyed myself. I really did. I think anyone that's a Halo fan, you're going to want to play this campaign. You're going to have a blast with it. Now, I will say this. I do feel you're going to maximize your fun playing this with 3 of your friends. This is a co-op game. Now, I feel like my fears were realized as far as with the co-op stuff and the AI guys, but 343 is taking this in a different direction, and you just have to accept it. I had to accept this by the time I got to the second mission, and once I did understand the mechanics and somewhat enjoyed moving my AI characters around the map, and telling them, all right, target that elite, target that jackal up there with the sniper, get into this position. I was able to actually master that by the time I got to the end of the game. So that was fine. It really was. I think playing this solo, you will learn to appreciate that mechanic. And again, just the scale and the scope of these levels. I mean, hey, look, if you guys can hear this, that's me clapping, because 343, the level design is fantastic. Just the size. You guys will be amazed how big these maps are. They truly are. You really do feel like you're on a battlefield at certain points in the game. I really applaud that. The vehicles felt great, like that new the new one from the Prometheans, the one ship that that one level you're going up and down. That was really cool. I really liked that. Thought that was a blast. The campaign's solid. It's very solid. I don't think anyone that's a Halo fan is going to have an issue with the campaign. It was a lot of fun.
You know what I like about the campaign, Parris, and especially this game, is that nowadays a lot of companies are focusing so much on just the multiplayer.
Yes.
Multiplayer this, multiplayer that. And I think this campaign is one of my favorite campaigns from Halo in a very long time, since Reach, I think. And the reason is that I like the change. I think Halo needed this type of change, because previously they were trying to copy certain things from like Call of Duty and other games, and it didn't. when I got to see that for the first time, playing that in other games, I didn't get that vibe, like as a Halo vibe. I felt like, oh man, this is too much Call of Duty, you know. Now it feels right. I think it feels right. Now the only negative thing that I have to say is playing this game heroic campaign wise, I got a little bit frustrated because the game is extremely, extremely hard. So there are some levels that playing it with the AI, I was like, man, what in the world are they doing? Like the AI on their own doing something else. So sometimes in some situations, like you said, let's say there's some hunters and some other enemies elite. I'll make the AIs go attack somebody else while I'm dealing with like the boss or one of those characters, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Another thing too is that let's say your character dies, I have to depend on the AI to see if they're gonna come and revive me. Sometimes it just didn't work out. Like that's the negative part.
Oh no, agreed.
Overall,
yeah.
And you know, I just kept on, and then I started doing other things, and then after a while, it worked out. You know.
No, agreed. But, and going back to that, because I'm sure people are curious about that as well. The whole revive mechanic. Again, once you understand how, because you do need to manage your AI characters. This is just if you're playing it on heroic or above. I feel I don't know about on easy or normal, but on heroic and legendary, you're going to need to manage your AI characters. So that whole revive mechanic, yes, you can hit the X button and they'll come over if they can and try and revive you, and vice versa. You can go revive them if they die while you're in the middle of the campaign. You kind of got to wait for a period for them to quote unquote respawn. Those type of things. That's something I can see it getting a ding for, because not everyone's going to be happy with having to not babysit your AI characters, but to kind of direct them to help you get through a level. Now, when I played co-op with 3 other people, obviously that works 10 million times better because you're communicating with real people and you're creating strategies and you're doing the whole thing. Again, I do think playing with your friends is the intended way to go through this campaign. I really do. Mm-hmm. Now, if I have a negative, and I'm going to be very curious to hear what other people think once they actually get the game and start playing. I never connected with Locke. I just didn't. And
really?
And okay. I felt I didn't get enough Master Chief. I didn't get enough Blue Team. And,
I feel the same way.
Yeah. And I really felt like this was more of a let's start gearing this towards Locke taking over the franchise versus this still being a Master Chief game. Now, obviously, Master Chief is still the hero and the star of Halo 5, but Locke got way more screen time than I intended. I was actually surprised by how much we got Locke in there, and I just did not connect with him. You know, and maybe that's because I felt Halo Nightfall was so bad. I came in with already with a skewed opinion. I don't know, but
now if they never, let's say they never release that and you just play,
I'll never know. You know what I mean? I'll never know now because, you know, my opinion's already been skewed. But playing with Osiris, with Team Osiris was fine. No issues at all. I had fun playing with them, but when we got to the cutscenes and dealing with Locke, I cared more about what Buck had to say than Locke.
Yeah, I love Buck.
Yeah, again, Nathan Fillion's great. I mean, he's just great. Man. Yeah,
he's all over the place.
Absolutely.
This is Gamer Tag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Hey Parris, so we need to do this live read for LD Products, and I just looked at my printer and I have no toner, and I think it's perfect timing that they reached out to us to talk about their ink and toner products.
No, absolutely. LDproducts.com, they are the ink and toner experts, and they offer a quality alternative at a fraction of the cost. You can save up to 70% off of the expensive name brands. Now, we're both in IT. You know, we use printers all the time in the office, and even people listening to this, whether using them in the office or using at home, you probably have some type of printer. And instead of going out to the retail store and spending an obscene amount of money on the name brand printer, ink, toners, and those type of things, go to ldproducts.com. They've been around for 16 years. They ship more than 6 million cartridges a year, and you're going to save 70% off of the name brand. It's a no-brainer. And with our promo code GTR, you're going to get free shipping, whether you spend $5 or $500, and you're going to get an additional 10% off ink and toner at ldproducts.com. Now, this offer is valid through 12/31/15. It excludes OEM and free shipping to all the United States.
And on top of that, you're saving the environment, which is a big thing for me. So on top of the 70%, we're getting 10% additional off, as well as saving the environment, because their whole building is one of the first Platinum LEED certified buildings that adheres to the strict 2009 guidelines. So on top of saving money, you're saving the environment, and you get to print out your live reads next time we need to do this.
Absolutely. And look, I'm going to use them. I actually have some cartridges on the way right now. So next week, we'll probably talk about this a little bit more. But again, remember to go to ldproducts.com, use promo code GTR at checkout. You're going to get free shipping, and you're going to get an additional 10% off ink and toner, only at ldproducts.com.
This is Gamer Tag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Real quick before we move on into multiplayer stuff, weapons.
Yeah.
What did you think? I felt, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. There's another game whose name shall not be said on this podcast that obviously I've gotten very used to using those weapons. So I had an adjustment period coming back to Halo 5 and playing with the Halo tool set of weapons. You know what I mean? At first. But once I got used to them, the battle rifle felt smooth. You know, even the Forerunner weapons, I really started getting into. I love using the saw, which is kind of like a heavy weapon in the Haloverse, things like that. So I had a lot of fun playing with them. And I purposely, going through various levels, I would kind of strategize on what weapons I wanted to hold, and I would purposely swap certain weapons with my AI characters to make sure that they had them in certain situations. So like if I knew I wanted them to snipe someone off in the distance, I'd make sure one of the characters had a sniper. So when I told them go attack that jackal, they had a sniper so they could get them from a distance, things like that. So had a lot of fun with that too.
Yeah, the enemies, they're intense, man. Like I felt like the elites in this game, previously they were okay, like with the previous Halo games, but with this game, they're tough. I felt even the hunters too. The hunters,
I was going to say, you know what? Toughest damn enemy in the game was the hunters, because they don't play like the hunters from previous Halo games, because they're smart. They will swat away your grenades, because the old trick is get behind them and shotgun them, right? Oh, no. These dudes were a lot smarter. So if anything, you had to use if you're playing, solo, you had to get your AI characters to target the hunters to distract them. And then you would sneak back around with the shotgun or whatever and get them from behind, things like that. So I really enjoyed my encounters that we had with the hunters. And like you bring up the elites, again, I'd go back to Halo Reach. They had that type of AI, whereas that was the best AI I've ever felt I had in a Halo game for the elites. And this was on par with that for sure.
What about the new enemies, especially the knights, man? That one was... You know
what, though? I actually thought they were tougher in Halo 4. I did.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I found them harder this game. Maybe just me.
Yeah, but again, I felt like, I take it back. The first time we encountered them, because I wasn't used to it, it was freaking tough. But I think once I figured out, all right, this is how you approach them, didn't have that much trouble with them moving forward. Except when they encountered you in bunches, then they got a little tough.
Well, I'm not going to mention a lot about. We're going to move forward to the multiplayer, but very quick, Parris, the bosses in this game. The reason why I say bosses is because this character pops up many times.
I would say by the time you encounter this certain boss, by the end, probably the hardest encounter in the game.
Oh yeah,
at least for me, anyways.
yeah. Because I remember playing it for the first time. I just didn't know what to do. I was like, man, this is like the hardest thing I've seen from Halo. Yeah, from a Halo game. So, but it was cool. It was. I'm very curious to see how it plays with 4 players, because I played the missions, but I've never played with 4 people campaign on like in those situations with like the bosses and stuff. So, but I could tell that it's probably going to be a lot of fun playing with 4 people.
Oh yeah, for sure,
part,
for sure, and and especially once we start tracking down more of these terminals, and you unlock the skulls and things like that. There's going to be a lot of variety to be able to go back and play in the campaign with your buddies.
Oh yeah, and another thing I forgot. There's 2 things I forgot to mention. One is there's a lot of rare weapons that you could find during the campaign. That's pretty cool. And another thing is too, when you play 4 players online, well actually, yeah, 4 players in total, you could choose which character you want before the mission begins.
Yes,
which is awesome. I like that, because that was the thing that Patrick asked me at first. Like, man, I wonder if in this game you could pick like your own characters, because I want to be this character in the game. I'm like, all right. So then we did that, and it worked out. Like I was picking Buck the whole time, So let's see, and that's it. Let's go now to the multiplayer, Parris. So I know at first, the first time you played this last year, you said that there was a lot of like esports focus type multiplayer when we played the beta. I didn't get that vibe now with this, because there's certain playlists that you will get that esports type vibe, but overall, like let's say you play the arena, let's say like Slayer or Capture the Flag or things like that. I didn't get that vibe at all. I think it was a lot of fun, man. Like I think it was well balanced. The design levels of these multiplayer maps, love it. Love it. And they also have Breakout. This one is like the quick multiplayer matches, couple round, the best out of whoever could get 5 wins. I like it. So far it was pretty good. No lag. Everything was smooth so far for me. But I think Warzone is by far my favorite multiplayer.
Let's pause on Warzone. Okay. Because I think that's going to be the bulk of our multiplayer discussion. Going back to your comments about the esports and the arena and Breakout and all that, my opinion really has not changed that much from my initial encounter with it last year at the Master Chief Collection launch event. And that's fine, because I feel like the way they've broken it out, I can avoid those playlists if I choose. Now, Breakout is something I can see me playing, because I did
Breakout is fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very intense, because there's no respawns, any of that. Your shields are nerfed, all those things. So it's very, like you said, it's very boom, 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 boom. So you got to be on your toes, and it really comes down to skill, or even more so making sure you have the strategy down to get the jump on your opponent. Because again, once you go down, that's it. You're not going to be able to, come back into the map and try again. So that's fine. Arena, it's just something I'm not going to play. It really isn't. I think as a multiplayer gamer, I don't like where they're headed with it. But that's me. I understand there's a complete audience for that. There's a market for that. People are going to watch that on Twitch and the whole thing, and it's going to be great. Now,
your son likes it? That part? Or no?
That's what I mean. I'm gonna bring up my son in a minute, but
okay,
yeah, he loves that stuff. I don't, but I'm old man, so don't listen to me when it comes to that. But I know a lot of people are gonna love Arena, and again, Breakout, I'm all in. I can play that all day. I think that's a lot of fun.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
Your season-long fantasy football team may be going strong, but you don't have to wait until week 16 to get paid. Put your fantasy skills to the test every week this season at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. 1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Got an injured player? No problem. It's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. And get this, DraftKings is crowning a new millionaire every week this season. You could turn your love of football into a life-changing payday. Just pick your players, pile up the points, pick up your cash. That's it. Believe me, you've never experienced football like this before. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. And like we've been telling you guys all season, folks, NFL is finally here. It's football time. We're ready to go. You don't have to be stuck in your typical fantasy draft leagues. You can do DraftKings, and every week is a new week. So I'm super excited to get this going now. So let's get into some DraftKings. But before you do, Hurry over to DraftKings now and use our promo code GamerTag to play for a free shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. Enter GamerTag for a free entry now only at DraftKings.com. That is DraftKings.com. Once again, DraftKings.com.
Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
But Warzone, let's jump into that. What's your thoughts on Warzone?
Warzone, like I said, I think is by far my favorite multiplayer game out of all Halo games. This is something unique, so much fun, and 12 versus 12 is awesome. And like, this is something that I see myself playing most of the time with our community, with our listeners and stuff. And it was cool because the first time we played Warzone, we got to play with a couple of like community members and media that they were part of our team. But then once I got to see who we were playing against, I was like, oh snap! So it's Major Nelson, BS Angel, KP.
No, she was on our team.
She was on our team, but then she joined the other team too.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was matchmaking, so it was like randomly changing teams, you know. But we will always get Major Nelson in the opposite team every single time. So yeah, he was driving around a Ghost, and he killed me a couple of times and stuff. And I think Parris also got him. He's like, yeah. But honestly, dude, it was so much fun, man. Like, I love that. Well, okay, for those that don't know much about the Warzone, is that you start off, you kill the enemies from your once you start, and this is the AI enemies. So it's AI enemies and plus 12 other players that you're playing against with and your team. So you have to go and take these bases. So if you take over 3 bases within the map, then that will help you to open the other enemies. Their base will get unlocked. There's no shield, so you could go inside and destroy their core. Once you destroy their core, game over. Or whoever could reach 1,000 points the quickest. Now you get that based on the people that you kill. Also, there's random bosses that will come out of nowhere in different locations in the map, and that's very, very challenging because everybody's trying to attack them, and whoever gets that, you get 200-300 points. That will help you boost your score for your team. So it was very entertaining. I think it was a lot of fun, man. I love it, man.
Okay, quick story. Yeah, quick story on Warzone, then I'll get into my thoughts on it. So yeah, I was playing, like you said, with you guys and Major Nelson and all those were on the other team. So at one point, I let my son play, and when he killed Major Nelson, he was so excited to the point he can't wait to go to school on Monday so he can tell all his friends that he took down Major Nelson. So just watching him, like me not playing and just watching him play Warzone was actually my highlight because I could see him picking it up for the first time and just how much joy and fun he was having playing multiplayer, playing Warzone, that it kind of clicked with me. And I'm going to say something crazy right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure a lot of people listen to this, they turn the volume up because they want to go, oh, Lord, Parris and Miss Cleo. This is the future for multiplayer gaming. I think so. Mm-hmm. I really think so. Combining, and this is where that power of the cloud that Microsoft, has been talking about the last few years, this is where it's finally starting to make sense to me, because the fact that they're able to bring in all these AI controlled objectives into a multiplayer match with huge maps, by the way, these are gigantic maps that we're playing on. So just these huge levels, there's AI controlled characters. It's 12v12. You got the whole rec system going. So you're able to bring in new weapons, bring in new vehicles. So it's basically scaling up bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger by the time that you get to the end of the match. And if it's a competitive match and all of a sudden you're bringing in Scorpion tanks and Wraiths and Banshees and everyone has all their heavy power weapons at the same time, I mean, it is absolute chaos by the end of it. This is the future, man. Now, this is something I will be playing for Halo 5 for a long time. And as long as Microsoft continues to, with DLC, bringing in new maps, bringing in new objectives, and see, that's the thing. By having these AI control characters, they can create different scenarios on these maps at any time. So all of a sudden you're engaging with blue team. Now there's these new elite captains or whatever you want to call them coming in, because they gave, like, even the Prometheans, they give these certain characters various names, and there was like the VIP target, and all of a sudden,
commander. So yeah,
both teams break off from engagement, and they're going to take out this objective, because the reason you want to get that objective is it's going to get you points, which is going to power up your team to make you even more powerful, because now you got better weapons and better vehicles and things like that. I'm excited for this. I really am. I'm very curious to see what this game is going to look like a year from now on the competitive scene when it comes to Warzone, because that's something I want to see become a competitive esport, is these whole Warzone engagements. And then, like you said, even on the casual side, having game nights with our friends, and, again, just 12v12, just everyone's laughing, having a blast. That's what I mean. It's perfectly set up so that you can play this casually and just have fun with your buddies. But I can also see a competitive side that's just going to be so intense. I love it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and another thing too that a lot of people didn't notice is that there's a reason why Microsoft pushed this update for the dashboard, that now you could have up to 12 people part of your party chat, and it's because of Warzone, because you could have a party chat with 12 people and talk while playing Warzone.
Yeah. It makes total sense. It's great.
Yeah, and it makes sense. I think this. I know people were bashing 343 because of Halo 4 and the Master Chief Collection. Like, Halo 4, I liked the campaign. It was okay, but I felt certain things in the game felt kind of weird, and then the multiplayer was okay. And then I love the Master Chief Collection campaign-wise, but then multiplayer wasn't working, right? This is their game. This is where, when everybody remembers Halo 2 from Bungie, I think people are going to remember Halo 5 for 343. I think so. Because you could tell, like, they learn from their mistakes. They learn from getting feedback from the community. And they wanted this game to be top notch, man. I think Xbox One needed this type of game, because we always remember the original Xbox with Halo 1 and Xbox Live. We're always going to remember Halo 2. But in this generation, Xbox 360, the last generation, there wasn't really a Halo that we could actually talk about, like how we felt back then with Halo 1 and Halo 2. Maybe Halo Reach a little bit, maybe. But still, like, I feel like this is their game. Halo 5 is a remarkable game. I think one of my favorite first-person shooters for 2015. Hopefully we change my mind with other games that's coming out, but I just don't see it, man. I don't see that at all.
I'll say this, but before I get into the final thought, because we didn't kind of talk about the technical aspects of the game, and I just want to say for those that care, it's 1080p. It's rock solid 60 frames per second. I know, there was like a Digital Foundry thing, and they kind of, broke down the campaign. It isn't always 1080p, but it's always locked at 60 frames per second. But the multiplayer is locked at 1080p, 60 frames per second, from what I understand. And to be honest with you, if you never told me any technical aspects at all, I wouldn't care, because the game is just butter smooth, and it's probably the best looking game I've seen on the Xbox One so far. Mm-hmm. It is a technical achievement. Whatever they did behind the scenes to get it working with that engine, I applaud them, because it's a great experience to actually just sit down and play the game. You're not fighting the game to enjoy yourself. The game allows you to just play it and enjoy it. So again, kudos to 343 Industries for getting that done. Now, going to what you're saying, I guess to just kind of wrap up my thoughts on this. Like I said, some of my fears were realized with the campaign. I do think there's still some things on the campaign side moving forward into the next Halo game that 343 needs to kind of tighten up a little bit. I don't know exactly what because again, they're gearing this towards a co-op experience. I totally get that. I just need to accept it. Other people just need to accept it and move on and enjoy the game. So maybe a little fine tuning on the co-op AI so you don't have to kind of manage them so much would be a nice, little finishing touch to it. But I think the weapons were great. Level design was great. I think the multiplayer, there's something there for everyone. Because again, I'm going to be the type that's going to skew more towards Warzone, but I know there's people that are going to absolutely love the arena stuff. I think this game is what Xbox One needs. Again, it being Halo, it being the flagship, it does stand up as a flagship game. When we look back at 2015, it will be in the top 5 games of the year. Absolutely. I don't see how it's not, because again, there's going to be something to appeal to everyone here. Now, let me ask you this question, Danny. I have my own opinion on it, but I know Bonnie Ross, she was featured in, I believe it was Business Week. Bloomberg. Was it Bloomberg? Okay, yeah. But she was featured in there, and the title even said, "Is this like the savior for the Xbox One? Is this going to save Xbox One?" Do you think so? First of all, do you think it needed saving to begin with? And if so, is this the game that's going to get people, that's going to push hardware, that's going to get people to pick up an Xbox One?
The first question, no. I think Xbox was doing fine. If this is a game, how Xbox, the original Xbox had Halo, the first Halo, which helped them get some sales. And then Halo 2 was more of pushing Xbox Live, in my opinion, more than anything else. I think that Halo 5, maybe. I think so. I think this is going to help push sales. But honestly, Microsoft isn't even focusing on the sales part. I think they're more of, this is what we could do, get ready for the future type thing. That's the vibe that I get with playing this game and on Xbox One. I think so.
Yeah, I would somewhat agree with what you're saying. I look at it like this. This Halo 5 is showing what Xbox One can do and will be doing in the future. So when you look forward to games like Gears of War and Crackdown and all that, these are the technical achievements that they can accomplish with these games. Now, story and other game mechanics aside, we'll see with those various games. But this shows you what Xbox One can do under the hood, in my opinion. And what that tells me as a gamer, Xbox One is going to be just fine. I personally don't care about sales numbers and with all this kind of stuff. But when we go into this holiday, if someone were to come to me and say, should I buy an Xbox One? What game would you recommend I get? I'm going to say, absolutely go get an Xbox One. And if you're going to get a game, go get Halo 5. That's what I would say. That's what I took from playing this game, that this, and I'm being 100% here, this is probably the first exclusive Xbox One game that I would feel confident telling someone to go pick up, and I know they're going to enjoy it on some level.
Before has been of, not everybody's into that game, and some people like it, some people don't. Previous exclusive games, but I don't get this vibe at all with this. I think like this, everybody will like it. The majority of people.
Agreed. I think there's something there for everyone. It is a very polished first-person shooter. Again, it's beautiful to look at. Level design is some of the biggest and best that I've seen in video games, period. Forget platform. Multiplayer, there's something there for a casual person, for a hardcore person, and everything in between. I do think Warzone is the future of where we want to see multiplayer gaming going, where we have this perfect blend of competitive along with AI controlled objectives at the same time. I think it's great.
My final thoughts, Warzone is a game changer.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely. So, Parris, man, I just want to say, man, it was cool reviewing this for a good close to 35, 40 minutes or so. It was a lot of fun, man.
No, absolutely a lot of fun.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, I'm just going to say, and just, thank you to Microsoft for providing us with the review code to be able to play this game, and we're able to take our time with it. It wasn't, all right, you got it 2 days ago, hurry up and get it out, so, right before the game. No, we had 2 weeks with this game, so we're able to take our time, and I took my time. I did not rush through this. I played the campaign casually at my own pace. When the multiplayer unlocked, I played that at my own pace as well, and I think that's the perfect way to be able to review a game and not feel rushed.
Yeah, and I like that Microsoft, they wanted us to focus on the campaign first, and then a week after that they sent the update for the multiplayer so we could focus on that. So thanks for Microsoft for sending us the code, man. It was a lot of fun, man. I enjoyed this. And hopefully we could start having game nights now with our listeners. So tune in to Gamertag Radio. We're probably going to give you some dates like for us to get together and play online, because this is the thing. I love playing with our community. I know we've been doing that with other games, but I think this is the game that we could get a lot more people together now, more than ever, and play. We could get together with 24 people, 12 versus 12, or whatever, So
absolutely.
I'm excited. Very excited. All right, head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes, or head over to play.it. Subscribe, share it with your friends, spread the word. Give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Or email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. In the future, I'm going to be reviewing this Alienware Steam machine. Very interesting device. I'm probably going to talk about that in the future and stuff. But I'm probably going to be getting a special guest on our show. So we're going to be talking about this device and stuff. And what about you, Parris? Anything else you want to say?
I believe I'm going to be on that Steam Machine podcast as well, kind of just as the person asking a bunch of questions.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm actually going to be reviewing a bunch of Logitech G hardware products here in the next week or so. And I know Pete's going to be reviewing Assassin's Creed Syndicate here, I think, on our next episode, right?
Yeah,
Thursday
and also
episode.
I have Guitar Hero Live.
Yeah,
I have that one too coming
absolutely.
up. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, again, there's a ton of stuff coming. I mean, Fallout 4 is on the horizon. Call of Duty's on the horizon. We got a lot of reviews coming up here pretty soon. This is going to be a lot of fun.
So, yeah, please bear with us. It's a lot of content. Yeah. Thank God that we're doing 2 episodes every week now. So, all right. We're out until next time. Peace.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week.